I'd like to call to order the public meeting of the Tredyffrin Township Board of Supervisors for April 20th. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you. First, I'll start with announcements. Valley Forge Trout Unlimited, the annual Keeper of the Stream Award, Mr. Baskar. Supervisor Baskar. Sorry about that.
Same thing. So, Valley Forge Trout Unlimited awarded their annual Keeper of the Stream Award to Township Engineer Steve Burgo on March 21st. So, I want to say that in my interactions with Steve, I've been personally impressed with his dedication to water quality and stormwater issues. And I'd like to turn it over to Pete Hughes of the Valley Forge Trout Unlimited, who would like to say a few words. Congratulations, Steve, and thank you.
Now I'm live. Jesus Christ. I'm Peter Hughes with Valley Forge Trout Unlimited and the Valley Creek Restoration Partnership. And for 34 years, we've been awarding the Dusenberry Keeper of the Stream Award to that individual who has done the most to protect the trout and cold waters that they swim in our area. And this year, it has gone to Tredyffrin Township engineer, Stephen Burgo. Stephen has done an awful lot to protect the fish. Even when he was doing other things for other purposes, they ended up helping the stream. The township in this whole area is incredibly fortunate to have Valley Creek. It is a cold water fishery. It's heavily influenced by limestone. That means that there's a lot of good basin there for the fish to swim in. And they're all wild fish. The Fish Commission doesn't stock anything in there. No private fishing groups are allowed to put fish in there. And Stephen has done more than anybody else to protect that stream. Most recently, he's done some very innovative work in the Krabby Creek watershed, which is a tributary to Valley Creek, with infiltration trenches and monitoring devices that can only help us in the long run. Dr. John Jackson at the Stroud Water Research Center said that there are many threats to Valley Creek and other watersheds, but the biggest one he cited was stormwater management, or rather lack thereof. And fortunately for Valley Creek, we've got Stephen Burgo here, who's been just a champion. And I want to thank him very much for that. And if you wanted to know what he looked like if he was part of George Washington's Lieutenant Corps, this was a flyer that we had in our annual trout show. I mean, doesn't he kind of look like he belonged there?
He looks like he belongs, doesn't he?
Absolutely, he does. Absolutely.
You guys see? Have you guys seen this?
To laugh at that.
Yeah, this is good. This is really good. With George Washington smiling in the background, this is fantastic.
There's a bit in there about Stephen's work.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, we think Stephen's doing a fantastic job, and we love having him with the township. He's a real resource for the whole community.
I have worked on and for and through other townships. He could write a book on how to do it.
He's an incredibly valuable resource for the whole community.
Yes, he is.
And we realize that and really appreciate him greatly. So thank you for recognizing him.
Yep.
Is anybody else?
I would also like to say thank you to Steve for what he's done and congratulate him on winning this award. And thank you for what you've done. My younger son is in high school and he's a very avid fisherman. And I know Trout Unlimited does a lot with the Conestoga kids, with the fishing club. And to me, it's unusual if a high schooler gets up at 6 a.m. to go fishing, for anything. But to go fishing, he just does it, and he's really enjoyed it. So thank you very much.
As far as professionalism, knowledge, experience, incredible work habits, and a focus on natural resources. He's your man.
It's terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Got another.
Can I just say a quick word?
Sure, of course.
First, I think we need, as Supervisor Hummel said, to thank Valley Forge TU for all the work they do to protect a big resource for the township. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And, Pete, and it's all volunteer. Valley Forge TU do a fantastic job, as does Steve. A couple of things about Steve. We know Tredyffrin's a tough place to manage water. He has to keep a lot more than Valley Creek. There's half a dozen watersheds, and I really appreciate the fact that everybody recognizes how hard Steve works, the expertise he brings.
Recording in progress.
And the education he's provided people like me, and the leadership for the Stormwater Task Force, the money he's raised. We should truly be grateful, and I'm glad that you recognize him and that you have here too, so thanks.
No, thank you, and we are grateful.
And last but not least, Ann Murphy wanted to express our appreciation for all the work Steve has done with the EAC, with Trout Unlimited, with the partnership. I've known him for 20 years, and it just keeps getting better and better. 3 points I would like to make with Steve. He is a real stormwater influencer. Years ago, DEP said when they set up the MS4 program, oh, you have to manage sediment through stream bank restorations. But Steve was always telling DEP, you really have to control the volume. So our MS4 program, if you look at the projects, there have been volume control, whereas you look at Upper Marion, East Whiteland, Easttown, they're all doing stream bank restorations with fairly limited, if any, success. So congratulations, and now I just learned that in June, DEP is announcing to the Watershed Congress for the county's running that there will be, how that DEP is now changing the MS4 permits to be volume control, and they won't be giving credit for stream bank restorations. So that's really our influencer right here. The second point I'd like to make is I think Steve really makes an effort to listen to community members and to integrate feedback into what the design of his projects. He's done that a lot with Bear Road, went through a lot of efforts there, but the one that stands most in mind with me is Stratford Park. I attended several years ago like a little community meeting where engineering was in Princeton Hydro were proposing to take the ball field and turn it into another stormwater basin. And the residents that came there were they're very polite, but they said, you know, we do use this for a ball field, even though it's maybe not an official one, and can you please think of something else? So what Stephen came up with was the porous pavement as you see now. And this past weekend I was there at the library, just happened to be watering the Thoreau maple that's there now. And I was standing at the parking lot, and there was a game going on in that field, and then all the people that came to the game were parked in the porous pavement lot. I said, this is perfect. And the last point I'd like to make, there is no one in the township that's a stronger defender of trees than Stephen. I mean, he knows a lot about trees. He loves trees. He's always on the lookout for trees coming down. As you do see this, you should go over and check this out. And then he's also incorporated that into the whole system the township has now with the online permit system, with the stormwater permits and the woodland ordinance permits and the building permits. And his staff, Dave Mitchley, is as well as the code enforcement officer, Dylan Burke, they're all aware of what the requirements are, and everything's online, and you can access it through Right to Know. So it's really improved the whole process of being able to follow on what's going on in the township with all those different regulations. So congratulations to Steve and on all of this. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It's exciting to see this much positive feedback about an award like this, and really shows that everyone recognizes the important work that Steve is doing. Anybody else on this topic? Now we want to go to the Library Hero Award and Friends of Traditional Library check presentation. Again, Supervisor Bhaskar.
Thank you. We have actually two events for the library. So for the first one, every year the Library Hero Award celebrates a person who's been outstanding in the value they have brought to the library. So this year the award goes to Marianne Murphy, a former board member. So even when she had to step down from the board when she moved out of Willistown, she remained engaged with the library and was exceptional in helping with the library's fundraising. I personally enjoyed working with you, Marianne, on the board, and I would like to turn it over to Rob Croner, the chair of the Library Board of Trustees.
Thanks, Bhaskar. Appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. As Bhaskar said, I'm Rob Croner. I'm the current trustee, president of the trustee board. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to present the award to Marianne tonight. I've known Marianne for a couple of years now. When she first joined the library board, it was about the same time I was going into the president role, and we were learning together. Marianne represents all that is great about a volunteer in this community, the enthusiasm, the willingness to pitch in, to support, to get involved, that engagement, her enthusiasm was remarkable. And it was just a delight as I was stepping into the president role to have somebody like that on the board to support it. And then Marianne moved out of the township and had to step off the board. And I thought it was one of those moments in your life where a great person comes into your life for a period of time, you enjoy it, they move on, you move on. But thankfully, Marianne is such a great contributor and patron of the library that this past year, while not on the board, she continued to raise her hand. And as Bhaskar said, she was significantly involved in the fundraising for the library through our mini golf events and those types of things. She raised her hand and said, can I volunteer again for one of the committees in the library? She stepped back into a committee member role on our policy committee. She's been involved with re-engaging the Friends at the Paoli Library. So she is just, I wish we had 100 Mariannes. She's that kind of an individual from that perspective. So the Library Heroes Award is awarded each year to a person, family, or organization that is extraordinarily heroic in their service to, support of, and advocacy for Tredyffrin Public Library, Paoli Library, and the Tredyffrin Township Library Foundation. And really, we can't think of anybody who deserves this honor more than Marianne. So, Marianne, I'm delighted to offer it to you. And we thank you.
I just wanted to add a quick statement first. Thank you. I'm really honored to receive this. Joining the Tredyffrin Township Library's Board of Trustees was the first truly official community role that I've ever taken on. Most of my work lives in writing and illustrating for children, teaching, and building educational software. So I came in expecting to focus mainly on the programming and policy, not really knowing what it meant to be part of the structure that would keep the library alive. But what I found was a group of brilliant people who are open, generous, deeply committed. So through my committee work and with the guidance of Rob and Mallory, Abby, Rachel, Stacy, and so many others, I learned so much about fundraising, strategic planning, and building strong bylaws. The confidence that I've gained there simply because people took a chance on me has been incredible. I moved here just a few years ago, and participating in the community events like Trunk or Treat and seeing the connections that grow through the makerspace made me fall in love with this township. Being a part of a group willing to stand up for access, inclusion, and the right to read helped me feel at home here. It played a real role in my decision to stay here permanently and start a family, and my parents and my husband's parents have also moved here, and we're very excited to be patrons together. My goal moving forward, especially as we continue building the Friends of Paoli Library, is to support the people who do this work every day and help create structures that make their jobs easier and more sustainable. So thank you for trusting me and for showing me what community leadership can look like. I've learned so much, and I'm very excited for what comes next.
Well, thank you. Any other comments? Supervisor
So-
Bhaskar?
The other event we have has to do with the Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library. So they're a wonderful organization and a great asset to our library. So they accept book donations from the public, and then they resell those online and at the Red Fox bookshop. And in turn, they raise a significant amount of funds for the library every year. And Kate Corrigan leads the Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library, and at this point I'd like to turn it over to Mallory Hoffman, the director of the Tredyffrin Public Library.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Kate Corrigan, the president of the Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library. It's a long title. The Friends began a year before the library actually opened, and which was in 1996. And the Friends have supported. We have a mission to promote the library, advocate for the library, and raise funds for the library. The early Friends, since '66, used very traditional fundraising methods. But in 2009, at the suggestion of Joe Sherwood, who was the director of the library at the time, the Friends made a sharp turn, and we opened a used bookstore. The bookstore has become a big community project. It's aimed at supporting the library staff in their presenting programs, educational programs, cultural programs for the whole Tredyffrin community. The community contributes approximately 60,000 used books every year to the Friends. And we take those books, work on them. We're only volunteers. There are 25 to 30 volunteers who come in all hours of the day, and we sort the books, clean the books, organize the books, put them in the store, and then we sell online. We sell far fewer online, but some of the books that we get will sell for $20, $25, $30. And then we have, at the end of every quarter, we've got a lot of books that didn't sell, so we have 4 book sales a year. And we cut the price in half, and we sell books for 3 days. And in 2013, Jim Shireen became the treasurer of the Friends board. And then he managed, unlike the people before him, he managed to modernize our financial system. So from 2013, we can say with great authority that the Friends have donated close to $500,000 to the library from the bookstore. The exact number is $467,832.99. He keeps us on our toes with the money. It has, as I said, become a big program, project, actually, that the whole community does take part in, and we appreciate the community and their involvement, both those who bring us the books, those who work on the books, and then those who come and buy. So we're able to make a donation this year, which we would like to present now. If I could just take 1 second to talk about one of our programs at the library. It's a special program that the Friends started in 2016 when the library was celebrating its 50th anniversary. And for the last 10 years, we focus on that program, and we've spent almost $40,000 to find all of the wonderful places in our area that are cultural and educational, and people can get a pass and go to places like Chanticleer Gardens for free. And thousands of people in 10 years have taken advantage of that program. We're very pleased with the program. And the staff at the library manages it just as smoothly as anything. So the reason all of the Friends do this is because we love the library. And between the donors and the volunteers and the customers, we are very pleased with what we can donate this year. Where's Mallory? There she is. Why don't you come up? And we don't like to do anything too big. We thought we would give it to you. So
It's bigger than me.
it's bigger than you. So this is our donation this year, and we do a donation each year that's requested by the library staff as they plan. And then if things come up during the year that they need, then they give us an email, what else? An email and describe it, and I don't think we've ever turned them down. We find the money, it's there, and we try to do everything we can to support you. So this year, we're very lucky. It's a nice big number, $44,500 from the Friends. All right.
I'll crop that. I'll just say a few words. I am delighted to be able to recognize and thank our friends tonight, and I'm honored to accept this extraordinary and unprecedented donation from you. As you may know, they have been supporting programming across all ages for many years, as well as purchasing museum memberships for our popular Museum Pass program. In 2025, the Friends also provided extra funding for some furniture upgrades and an author visit. In 2026, the Friends are providing increases across the board for programming for children, teens, and adults, and on top of that, they are providing funding in 2 new areas. They will provide funding for all of the consumables in our makerspace. Since the makerspace is well established with equipment, the main limiting factor to us offering more programming is the cost of consumables, like the 3D printer filament, Cricut vinyl, pipe cleaners, beads, and more. With this funding, our librarians can offer as many programs as staff time and space will allow. The Friends will also provide a fund for outside program providers, including authors, performers, and speakers. This additional funding will allow librarians to bring in popular performers more often and to invite new performers this year. We are so thankful for this funding, which will allow the library to serve the community at an even higher level this year. The Friends work incredibly hard to earn the money that they contribute to the library. I cannot get to my office without seeing a friend. Every single day. It's a good thing. They spend hours processing books for the Red Fox Bookshop, preparing books to sell on Amazon, accepting donations, and more. Their quarterly book sales are efficient and well-staffed events that our community eagerly awaits. In addition, the Friends provide a rewarding and inspiring volunteer opportunity for Tredyffrin community members. Plus, they are dedicated library users, program participants, and lovely coworkers. We are truly in awe of the Friends' commitment to the library and are so glad we are able to publicly extend our most heartfelt thanks. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. That's very exciting, and thanks for all the hard work you do for our libraries and our community. Any other comments on any of this?
Yes, I heard you say we take in 60,000 donations per year of books. How many do we sell? How many books do we sell?
Excellent question. And the answer is really, we don't know. We count the money. We do know exactly what we sell on Amazon, and it's approximately 2,000 a year, at an average of $21. That we know because they give us all our computers.
Thank you. I really appreciate what you're doing. I think it's a great thing. I know you're not aware of this, but the Parks and Rec Committee in the last 2 years has done trunk or treat at Halloween time, where we invite people to come and decorate their trunks and give out candy and such to the kids. But what I've done is I give out a book to each kid. So I decorate my trunk and then I have some bookshelves. But I come to Tredyffrin Library's Red Fox bookstore in October and I try to clean you out on any kids' books that you have that deal with Halloween or fall or Thanksgiving or superheroes or princesses, you know, what the kids like to dress as. And it's always a big hit. So thank you very much.
Children's books are the big seller.
Yes.
In the store all the time.
Yes. Great.
So thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. I'd like to call to order a public hearing for HR 495. This is a public hearing to consider and possibly adopt ordinance HR 495, amending Chapter 4 of the Administration of Government Articles 7, General Provision. Mr. Speedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Real quick, before we go on, just an update. The Zoom video is not working tonight. We're having some issues between the control room, so audio seems to be working, but I just want to make you aware. And it's coming out on YouTube, so if you want to log in, if you're here on Zoom, it's coming out through the YouTube channels clearly. It's just not working through Zoom.
Thank you very much. I mean, all the supervisors are here present, so I think from that perspective, we're in good shape. And we apologize to residents who wanted to hear or to see, but they can hear us, right? All right, well, we don't look any different. So thanks.
All right. My name is Theodore Speedy, standing in for Solicitor Pat McKenna. I have pre-marked exhibits for this hearing. B1 will be affidavit of publication in the Daily Local News of the notice of tonight's hearing on March 30th, 2026. And I have marked as B2 the affidavit of publication in the Mainline Times and Suburban Mainline Media Digital notice of tonight's hearing on March 29, 2026. Marked as B3 is the notice of the hearing to the list of residents that signed up to receive such notice electronically. And B4 is a copy of the proposed ordinance amending the Township Code being considered tonight. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Martin, do you want to give us a quick summary of why this is necessary?
Yeah, so when this was updated in 2012, it's really just referring to this, it didn't recite the correct citation of the second-class Township Code, so it's really an administrative change at this point, no material change.
I think it's important for residents to hear that this is just we quoted the wrong citation in an ordinance, so we need to make an update. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Do I hear any board comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote. Supervisor Bazunas?
Aye.
Supervisor Von Moll?
Aye.
Supervisor Humble?
Aye.
Supervisor Gussie?
Aye.
Supervisor Bhaskar?
Aye.
Supervisor Johnston Pugh? And I vote aye. Motion carries. That adjourns the public hearing for HR 495. Thank you very much. I'd like to call to order the public meeting. I'm going to start with announcements. The Municipal Authority meeting scheduled for April 22nd is canceled. The Arts Commission meeting scheduled for April 23rd is also canceled, and the art display that's, the art gallery outside here closes this Friday, so if you want to take a look, now's the time. If you can bid on these these pictures, they're great. The first annual Tredyffrin Community Yard Sale is scheduled for Saturday, April 25th. You can find a list of homeowners who are participating on the Township website. And the first family movie night for this year is scheduled for Friday, May 8th, showing Zootopia 2. Now we call for approval of the minutes. So here a motion to approve the minutes of the March 16th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any board comments or questions? Public comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The board met in executive session prior to this meeting to discuss legal and personnel matters. Now we go to supervisor liaison reports, and we're going to start with Supervisor Bazunas.
Hi, good evening. Just leading off with Development Committee, we get a discussion about data centers and starting preliminary work on ordinance to provide proper protections for the township. Additional information will follow in the coming months. Fire and Mess Commission met last month. We're in the process of selecting a solicitor. So bids have been reviewed and staff are starting that review process of the solicitor. Information gathering for Radnor Fire Company, Berwyn Fire Company, and Paley Fire Company is continuing, led by Chief Operating Officer Dertone. We're continuing discussions of the fire and mesh leadership position. We made good progress on that. More to follow. Next meeting will be Wednesday, May 20th at 3 p.m. here at Tredyffrin Township. And finally, for Planning Commission, there's one item discussed at the most recent meeting. That involved work on the Russell Road Townhouse project. They're looking to construct 18 townhomes there. There was discussion about stormwater, trees, and various other things related to that development. The developer has worked not only positively with our staff here at the township, they've had also good communication with the neighbors there. One item that came out of that meeting that'll be referred to traffic committees, concerns over speed on Russell Road, which is an existing issue intermittently, as well as discussion about sidewalk connection as well, which Engineer Burgo is well aware of. That's all, Mr. Chairman. You want to do that now? Okay. We have a vacancy on the Planning Commission. We went through a process. We interviewed Lisa Thomas, and I'd like to make a motion to appoint Lisa Thomas to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Any board comments or questions? I'll just say that the Personnel Committee interviewed Lisa, and she's extraordinarily qualified, and we're lucky that she wants to serve our community. Any public comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll go to Supervisor Von Moll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will start with the Planning Commission meeting from March that I covered for Supervisor Bazunas. There were two items of business on that meeting, a lot line adjustment at 1297 and 1399 Old Eagle. This is in the area of Glen Hardy. There's an exchange of land being proposed there. However, during that discussion, it became clear that the condo association had not formally reviewed or approved it, so the commission is holding that application until that occurs. And then secondly, an application from Johnson Matthey about Devon Park Drive. There were concerns that were raised by residents nearby, and the commission discussed the importance of addressing those impacts on the neighborhood as part of the project review, so that application remains under consideration. Moving to the Municipal Authority, the Municipal Authority meeting for this month was canceled, as you just described, for lack of business before the board. The next meeting is scheduled for July 15th at 7 o'clock here in the Township building. The Traffic Committee met on March 19th at 7:30 a.m. right here and reviewed several ongoing resident concerns about traffic safety and visibility and parking, concerns about pedestrian safety on Stratford and Old Eagle Road, School Road were considered. We received resident feedback about visibility and safety sightlines at several intersections, including Cassatt, Conestoga, and Prince Roads. We also did some intersection reviews at Churchill and Old Lancaster Road, as well as Upper Gulf and Swedesford for general traffic flow and safety concerns. And then we continued to review concerns along Route 252 about accessing congestion. We also reviewed a few specific resident requests for Valley Forge Road, Conestoga Road, and Dalesford Road. Most of those items are still under review. The staff is looking at potential next steps, and we will continue to evaluate those accordingly. The next Traffic Committee meeting is June 17th at 7:30 a.m., not p.m., right here in the Township Building. Finally, I had a lot of committee in the last month. The Library Foundation Board met on April 7th. The foundation reviewed the financial reports and the tax filings that they are submitting for the year 2025 and received an update about the Jean Rice estate. There was also discussion around board recruitment, as the foundation currently has several open seats, including in some leadership positions, and the board is continuing to update its work on updating its bylaws to reflect its current operations and governance. There was additional information provided from the board of the library staff and the board of trustees. And on the fundraising side, planning is already underway for the foundation's major fundraising initiative with the mini golf outing, which will take place towards the end of the year. There is a retreat that we'll be having with the library board of trustees this weekend, and the next foundation meeting is July 7th. It'll be their annual meeting at 7 p.m. at the Tredyffrin Public Library. Those are my reports, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Von Moll. Supervisor Humble.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Committee met last Wednesday. You have half of the announcements there already, with the first annual Tredyffrin Community Yard Sale scheduled for Saturday, April 25th. And again, the first family movie night for this year is scheduled for Friday, May 8th, showing Zootopia Year 2. We have a vacancy on the Parks and Recreation Board. Portia Trisdorfer's service has come to an end. Naturally, she is not renewing, so we encourage anybody who's interested to submit their letter of interest along with a resume. As it says right here, the Arts Commission meeting scheduled for this Thursday is canceled. There is a zoning hearing board meeting set up for this Thursday at 7 o'clock in this room. Thank you.
Thanks, Supervisor Humble. Supervisor Gussie.
At the April 9th meeting, the Historical Commission continued advancing several local history initiatives. The Commission is working with the TE School District to integrate Tredyffrin history into the social studies curriculum, including possible tours and resources to connect the students to local sites and stories. Planning is also well underway for America 250 Tredyffrin. This includes planning a British reenactment event with interactive demonstrations and community activities, with a smaller preview event planned for this coming September. The Commission is also developing additional projects such as a depredation exhibit and tours, along with possible Dare to Declare community events. Planning for the 2026 programs, communications, and public engagement is ongoing. The next meeting of the Historical Commission will be on May 14th. And in addition, the Commission is holding the last of its 4 public meetings tomorrow evening regarding the Historic Resource Overlay District Ordinance Update. So I encourage anyone interested to attend. And that's it for tonight for me.
Thank you, Supervisor Gussie. Supervisor Bhaskar.
Thank you, Chair Miller. So, first on the Environmental Advisory Council, EAC member Suzanne Hayes has stepped down to become an associate member as her schedule conflicts with attending the main meeting dates for the rest of the year. So we'd like to thank Suzanne for her service to Tredyffrin residents. And EAC members come from its associate members. So if you're interested in the environment, please do join the EAC as an associate member. The Environmental Advisory Council met on Tuesday, March 24th, and there was discussion. The EAC members plan to assist Girl Scout Vivian Peng's Girl Scout Gold Award to acquire and plant at the library a red maple from Thoreau's Walden Woods to create interest in his works. So that was completed. Congratulations and thanks to Vivian and also to Public Works, who at the last minute on short notice dug out an old stump that was in the way. There was discussion about tree plantings in our parks for 2026. And on this year's Martin Luther King Day of Service cleanup, there was less trash than usual around Valley Forge Elementary School because of a new policy that kids should eat their snacks indoors. So that was, I think, a success there. And we received a $100 check from Trex in acknowledgement of our recycling of plastic bags, and we can spend that at next Trex. So the next meeting of the EAC will be on Tuesday, April 28th, 8 days from today. Moving on to the library. So this week is National Library Week, and we recognize the special place that the Tredyffrin Public Library's 2 locations have in our community. So the board passed a resolution recognizing National Library Week at an earlier meeting. The Library Board of Trustees met on Thursday, March 26th. And I'd like to remind the residents that we have a vacant trustee position. So please reach out to the library board, the library director, or to me if you'd care to serve the residents on the library board. The ad hoc committee made recommendations on updates to the outreach policy that were accepted by the board at the last meeting. There was some there were some things that were subject to open interpretation in the previous policy. And then we're trying to relaunch the Friends of Paoli Public Library. So, today we saw the Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library, and there was an informational meeting to relaunch the Paoli Library. And it was encouraging to have about 10 people show up, so hopefully that can be rebooted one of these days. So the next book donation day for the Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library is scheduled for April 20th. That must be wrong. May 20th maybe, sorry. The donation for March 20th was canceled because of the time needed to process the donations. And lastly, I'd like to remind everyone of a special event that's happening tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the library. So there is a program called Book Buzz and Bites, where essentially you can sign up and then they have a bunch of people at desks, and each person at a desk has got a recommendation of 3 books, and then if you sign up, you can come in and you can kind of circulate kind of speed dating style to meet the residents. And it's a 21 plus program, so there'll be some snacks and adult beverages, and there's still room to sign up, so please go sign up. This does require a sign up. I think you can sign up at the door if there are vacancies. So the next meeting of the library board will take place this Thursday, April 23rd. And with that, over to you, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Bhaskar. Supervisor Johnston Pugh.
Thank you. As it was stated, the meeting for the Art Commission is canceled, but as was stated, the art is still out in the hallway, and it will be out there until this Friday, so I would ask anyone to go and look, and there's still time to vote on what you think is the best art piece out there. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Johnston Pugh. I just want to report that the pension trustees meeting is going to be Wednesday, May 13th at 7 a.m. That's for pension trustees. And I would also like to offer a motion to appoint Mike Heberg to the pension trustees.
Second.
Any board comments or questions? I'll just say Mike is extraordinarily qualified. I think he'll do a great job, and we really appreciate his volunteering to serve. And the gentleman who stepped off for conflict reasons, and he was also a wonderful member of that board. Any public comments or questions? Oh, we got a second.
Second.
We got a second from Eamon. Yeah. A soft one, but we got one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now I need a motion to amend the agenda. Mr. Speedy.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So in accordance with the Sunshine Act, the agenda is published before the meeting, but there is a method to amend the agenda during meeting for emergency purposes. I don't know if you want to talk about, I guess like the procedure is, there's going to be a motion to amend the agenda to take a vote on the purchase of the pump for the Chesterbrook Pump Station. There'll be discussion. The explicit reasons for amending the agenda have to be stated for the record, the minutes. That will be voted on, and at the end of the meeting, we'll take the actual motion, second consideration of the actual purchase.
Okay, so we vote to
Thank you.
amend the agenda, and then we vote on the actual item.
Correct.
Got it. So I'll offer a motion to amend the agenda.
Second.
All right. Mr. Fitzgerald, do you want to talk about why this is an emergency and we have to do this now?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week, when the guys were doing their normal PM of the pump station, a loud noise from the one pump down there, the bearings are gone. We had to shut it off. There is no spare. There is no way to back it up. In order to get a new pump, it's 18 weeks to wait for a new pump, and we're anticipating the same problem with getting parts to rebuild it once we send it out. So that's the reason for the emergency.
And just to be clear, this is the pump station in Chesterbrook that's pumping the effluent, I guess, out of Chesterbrook, just to be clear.
Yeah,
why this
sanitary
is-
sewer.
Yeah, it's a sanitary sewer.
Sanitary sewer, yeah, why this is an issue. So any board comments or questions on why we need to do this now? Public comments or questions? I'm sorry? We're just voting now on amending the agenda so we can talk about it. That's okay.
We have to take a vote to put it on the agenda and then
Yeah.
later talk about the actual project.
Yeah. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now we have a motion to purchase this pump. Mr. Fitzgerald.
So staff is requesting board approval to purchase a sanitary sewer pump for the Chesterbrook Pump Station. Last week, while doing routine checks, the crew noticed a loud noise coming from the pump, and it was determined that the upper bearings in the pump motor had failed, or just about failed. There's not a spare motor at that station, so we were unable to swap it out. We currently turn the pump off and only use it in an emergency situation if there's a problem with the other pump. There is a very long lead time for the parts. We are requesting $54,600 to order a spare pump for the station through MGK Industries, who is a CoStar's vendor. And then unfortunately, we have to wait 18 weeks lead time once we do order the pump to get a new pump in. Once the new pump is installed, we will send the current pump out to be repaired, which will now be a spare pump for the station. And we're also working with MGK to get a price to install a bypass pit and fittings to be installed at the Chesterbrook Pump Station so we could use our bypass pump in the future if we were to have any other problems. Happy to answer any questions.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any board comments or questions?
I got one. Darren, what happens if this thing buses before the 18 weeks that you get the other one? What is there?
What our plan would be at that point, we do have a bypass pump, but in order to do it, we'd have to run it through the woods. We would have to run hose through the woods and stuff. We can make it happen, but it's not exactly the best thing to be doing, so.
So let me ask you another crazy question. While we're waiting for the 18 weeks, there's nobody else around us that has something that could help just while we're waiting for the 18 weeks?
We have tried and no. Unfortunately, a lot of our equipment is older, so there's no quick, easy way to replace it.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest problem we have now with a lot of things is everybody knows is inventory is money, and not a lot of places are keeping the inventory on the shelves that they used to keep. So that's one of our major problems.
Thanks. Any other board comments? Public comments? Sure.
Just to clarify, this comes out of the sewer fund, not the township budget, right? Okay, and has there been any, pollution as a result of this happening, or, no, there is,
Has there been any what? I'm sorry.
any negative impacts?
No, everything's still running on the one pump.
Everything's still running, it's just the
Yeah,
pump
we've
danger.
had no problems, no overflows, everything is good.
Okay, great, thanks.
It's working, it's just failing. Yeah, failing, yeah. Any other public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to formally appoint the Tredyffrin Township members for the Tredyffrin Easttown Fire Commission. Mr. Dortone.
Good evening, members of the board. The action before you this evening will formalize the appointment of Chairman Miller and Supervisors Gussie and Brazunas to serve as the Tredyffrin Township representatives on the Tredyffrin Easttown Fire Commission, along with Easttown Township Supervisors Wasey and Laboutiere. It is staff's recommendation that this be approved as outlined.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Second. Any board comments or questions? Public comments or questions? And just to be clear, this is a one-year appointment, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
what I thought.
so we've
It's
done
every year
it.
we reappoint them.
we've
Just
done it-
I just want to clarify for my,
Yes, this
I
is
know
the
the answer, I just want to clarify for my fellow supervisors.
Since the commission doesn't have a solicitor, we did it informally at our reorg meeting,
Yeah.
where you guys are appointed as fire liaisons, but since now the commission is official and is searching for its own solicitor, our solicitor recommended that we make it official by officially appointing you. So yes, you'll be renewed at the reorg meeting.
Yeah, the reorg meeting every year, just so everyone understands how this works. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the capital purchase of surface cleaning equipment. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Staff's requesting approval for the purchase of surface cleaning equipment for our Ventrec from VPW Enterprises for $29,717. This proposed purchase will mainly be used to clean impervious paving surfaces at Stratford Park and various other locations where the pervious paving have been installed. This will allow the pavement to continue to function as designed. In addition, we will also use the equipment to clean our hard court surfaces in our parks. The equipment was included in the 2026 capital budget. I'm happy to answer any questions.
How much is it?
$29,717.
Thanks. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any board comments or questions? Public comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the replacement of handicap door hardware at TE Public Library. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Staff's requesting approval from the Great Valley Lock Shop for the installation of new handicap accessible equipment and general door repairs at the Tredyffrin Library for $24,056.40 through the CoStars program. The purpose of this is the handicap doors at the library. We've been having nothing but trouble with them. They don't function properly. So we want to get them repaired. They'll be doing the same type of doors that we did in the front here last year. Once that gets done, we're hoping that it'll fix the door issues. There may be some problems with the locking mechanisms through this system. So we'll address that once we get the new hardware and stuff on. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any board comments or questions?
I have a comment, which is that, right now, the locking on the doors is so bad that what happens is they have to put a chain on the inside of the door at night to keep it locked. And when we're at the Library Board of Trustees meeting, we're a meeting there after the library is closed. So we actually have to exit through another door around the side because these doors have a chain and you can't walk through the doors. So I think it's about time that we replace these doors.
I can assure you the Fire Commission does not want to hear about this. So yes, we know this has to happen. Any other comments from the public, residents? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to authorize staff to work with the solicitor to draft the zoning amendments for regulations of data centers. Ms. McPherson.
Thank you, Chairman Miller, members of the board. So basically, we would like to work with our solicitor. Obviously, data centers have become a topic of conversation in many municipalities, and Our zoning ordinance doesn't have any specific regulations for them. And Chester County actually just came out with a guidance document for municipalities, creating ordinances, regulating them. So we would like to start the process of sort of drafting, some language for our zoning ordinance if we do have applicants that come in. Just to let you know, I have not spoken to any applicants requesting data centers in the area, but we just thought with the county coming out with their document, it's kind of best for us to jump on, creating our ordinance. So we're requesting a motion to allow us to work with the solicitor to come up with the specific zoning language.
Thank you, Ms. McPherson. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
All right, well, I'll have you as a second, I guess? Yeah. All right. Any board comments or questions?
Sure. So basically, I think, one of the points that has been made is that there is not enough open land in Tredyffrin for a data center of the size that people are building. And in fact, if anyone is interested, I'd be happy to forward an article about a Meta data center that's being built in Louisiana, which is about the size of Central Park in Manhattan. Now, there's just not that kind of land here in Tredyffrin, but I think it's still important to have a data center ordinance on the books while we have time. And the reason is that today's data centers are large, and part of that is because the AI today is being driven a lot by training, and training requires these large data centers because you're dealing with these massive amounts of data. But the use of AI is changing, and there's going to be, training is still going to continue because even after they train these models on languages, they're going to want models to be trained on images and movies. Think about training them on all the old I Love Lucy shows and so on. So there'll be a lot of those to train. So training is not going to go away. But on the other hand, there will be more use with inference, which is the way that people would use AI models, and also small companies might do training on their own smaller data sets. The township might actually do training of a data set on all of our ordinances and minutes. And in fact, I did a little bit of experimentation on that. Didn't make much headway, but it's something that we could be doing. So those things require much smaller data centers. And what I see in the future is that, if you look ahead 5 years, you might see data centers that are the size of office parks. And certainly that is something which would affect Tredyffrin. So I think it's good to have an ordinance on the books just so that we're not caught flat-footed. And again, thinking about data centers, they need lots of electricity, they need a lot of internet connectivity, they need a lot of water. Now, I'm not terribly concerned about electricity and internet connectivity, other than the fact that the electricity consumption might drive up the rates for you and me. But water is an issue. So certainly, if you were to say, I'm going to put up a data center next to 3 Mile Island, next to the Susquehanna River, great, that's a good place for it. But, putting one next door is not perhaps such a great idea. And if you have a data center next door, the main concerns other than the water is the noise, because what they do is they bring in used jet engines from aircraft and use those to drive turbines for backup power. So if you have a data center moving in next door to you with all the fans and the jet engines, it's kind of like standing next to an airport. So certainly I'd like to see the ordinance in place well before we get any applications for data centers in Tredyffrin.
Thanks. Well, thanks, Ms. McPherson, for being ahead of this. Just so the public understands, and just to repeat something that Ms. McPherson said, there's no application in front of us today, so we're not considering an actual thing. So this is just the township putting regulations on the books today, because if you don't have an ordinance and someone comes to you with a use that you don't talk about, that means you are not regulating it, and they could potentially argue it could go anywhere. So that's what this is about, just so people understand. So it's not like some scary thing that's happening. We're just trying to make sure we're a little bit ahead of it. And this county's done a really good job, so the information we're getting from the county is really good. So that's very helpful here, just so everyone understands that. Does that all make sense? Any public comments or questions? Yeah, sure.
There, okay. I guess the data center is not necessarily the big roof type. I don't know, but I've been reading something about the importance of when you're making these plans with warehouses, that you take advantage of the surface and bring in the solar benefit from solar energy, benefits from the tops of warehouses. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but there is a concern that as you're developing the ordinances to consider at least the size of the building and whether it can be also used for environmental purposes. That's all. I'm not technically competent to make anything more comment, but.
I do think that was in the brief discussion we had on this. I do think that was in the county information and something that we're considering. So it's a great idea.
And just to be clear, Mr. Burgo has been looking at what's on the roofs of other buildings as they're getting developed in the township. So talking about roof, things on roofs is not a new topic in terms of green roofs and solar roofs and all that stuff. And it's something Steve talks about regularly. Sure.
Sorry. I'm just curious, I haven't read the county guidance, but I'm curious if you have an idea or see any gaps in the current zoning ordinance that you're trying to fill by, adding to the ordinance.
So we don't talk about data centers in our current ordinance at all.
But you talk about things like noise in the current ordinance. So I'm wondering what other specific gaps there might be that would be geared towards a data center.
Yeah, there's a number of different things. A lot of times the data centers come in as kind of these block buildings that are not very attractive. So there's, possibly things we could look with the facades of the buildings to make them kind of more compatible with other buildings in the area. We have to look at where we want these, which zoning districts would best be suited for this use. Like we talked about the energy consumption, a lot of these are, high power, and sometimes they even come in with their own sort of mini power plants. So you have to look to see, if there's any regulations you would put with that. We are on public water, so there's also regulations I've seen where townships are requiring them to, obviously be connected to the public water instead of drawing from, a well or something like that might drain other, wells in the area. So there's just a number of things associated with them. It is the noise as well.
Yeah.
But that's already, like you said, there is some language in the ordinance for, we would have to monitor it before and then after it was created to make sure that they weren't exceeding.
Just to understand, so what we're authorizing tonight is really the township to spend some money with our solicitor to think about all these issues so that someday if someone comes in and says they want to build a data center, we can say, we thought about it. Here's how it applies in our zoning ordinances. Here's some things we may or may not have to have changed so we can move forward in a way that seems organized and we get what we think we want in our community.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That makes sense.
We're not banning them or anything like that. That's not what's going on.
Oh, yeah, that's clear. So I'm just curious, this seems like a very potentially, clearly nothing's been generated yet. Seems like a very specific carve-out in the zoning ordinance. Are there any other carve-outs in the zoning ordinance right now for specific commercial enterprise?
Yeah, I don't think it's a carve out. It's just, we have a lot of defined types and uses. Aaron, you can speak to it more, but.
Yeah, there's definitely different types of, warehouse, commercial, and then there's some subsets of that, within that. And then we do have some facade designs already in the ordinance, for some of the districts. So, we would just be looking at all of that associated with the data center. Because the county came up, the county came up with the guidance document, we just thought it was the best time to kind of incorporate that into our ordinance. Otherwise, if it, Chairman Miller said, if a developer came in, they almost get to dictate what they want instead of us getting to kind of provide some guidance as to what we're looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help? I mean, there's a lot of specificity in the zoning ordinances, so it's,
Yeah, it's helpful. Thank you.
okay, thanks. No, thank you. Any other public comments or questions?
I had,
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't get a chance. I wanted to just add my support for this effort. I think a lot of the issues that we're seeing in our neighboring municipalities right now is because they are being forced to play catch-up because they did not plan in advance, and thus projects have come in to what Ms. McPherson just stated, playing with what is currently zoning in that municipality, which means they get to dictate the project. Us being proactive, while there is not any projects happening in Tredyffrin or being planned to happen in Tredyffrin, allows us to be ahead of the game should anything come up, so that we can be prepared for whatever may be to come. So I support this effort.
Thanks. Any other board comments? Sorry about that. Public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the sale of alcohol during specific 2026 community events. Mr. DeRocco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Our Parks and Rec coordinator, Colleen, has put together a list for the board to hopefully approve tonight. The events are the two movie nights, one upcoming in May, the other in September, our summer concert series, and Community Day. As I understand it, it's the same list as last year.
Thank you, Mr. DeRocco. Do we hear a motion?
So moved.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
Any board comments or questions? The only thing I'll say is that I think 4 or 5 years ago when we first started this, I had a lot of questions about how this was going to work out. It's been remarkably good. Like, it just has no problems. Everyone is well behaved. It's an add to the community. So I'll just throw that out there. I was probably wrong 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and I was skeptical. Any public comments or questions? Any other board comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve PennDOT right-of-way sanitary sewer facilities operations and maintenance agreement for John and Julia Sponcella for 218 East Conestoga Road. Ms. McPherson.
Thank you, Chairman Miller, members of the board. So the current property owner has an existing sewer lateral that is failing. They need to make a repair, but it's in the PennDOT road right-of-way, so we need it to have the agreement in order to apply for the application.
Thank you, Ms. McPherson. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks. Any board comments or questions? Public comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the following agreements for Mainline Padel. This is LLC, it's 341 East Conestoga Road. It's a development and financial security agreement, the stormwater best management practices and maintenance agreement, PennDOT right-of-way sanitary sewer agreement, PennDOT right-of-way stormwater best management practices and conveyance operations and maintenance and endowment agreement. Mr. Speedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. So just brief background, the plans for this project were from 2024. It already went through a cycle of approval. It could not be built at the time, so now it was back before the Planning Commission and approved on February 19th. And so these are the final piece of moving forward with the development, and the board has to approve these. We have reviewed all these documents and they're satisfactory. I just would point out one note. Because the proposed sewer lateral will go through Conestoga Road, a state highway, that requires the PennDOT right-of-way agreement, and then the township is a co-applicant for the highway occupancy permit. So there's no maintenance obligation on the township, and the developer will build the lateral and maintain it on their own expense. That's it. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speedy. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any board comments or questions? Public comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to authorize advertising a public hearing on May 20th, 2026 for ordinance HR 496, which is to amend the Township Home Rule Charter. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. As you recall from our last board meeting in the month of March, we have been working on the Home Rule Charter review. The commission had a document redlined and the final document presented. Supervisor Bhaskar had some additional comments and questions, so we sent it back to the commission to do one final review, made some adjustments, incorporated some of his comments. We think it's a good document at this point. It's ready to go, and if the board so chooses, we'll authorize the public hearing to take place in May. At that point, we'll have additional public comment, and if it's approved, we'll be moving forward to a referendum in November. And so be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any board comments or questions? Public comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's the regular meeting. Now we go to new matters. Any citizen new matters? Sure, come on up.
It's on. Oh. Hi, my name is Carol, and I live in the community. And this is maybe more of a follow-up concerning the neighborhood woman that was killed recently. And it's also just to clear up a lot of things that I hear out in the community where people don't really understand the reality of what it's like to deal with a mentally health person. I know that the red flag law has been talked about, and hopefully that will, we can get that enforced. It's kind of shocking that we don't already have that. But I guess I got to talk to Captain Moyer because I just felt like the police are put in a very awful situation. So when you have a mentally ill man that will not comply with getting voluntary mental health help, then the next step is, if he is a danger to himself or others, which in that situation it seemed like he was, you have to call for a 302. So you have to call a crisis team. And in our county, we have a skeleton staff that are on call to come out to do a 302 process. So now, since it is such a skeleton staff, they could be in Oxford working on a case to get somebody 302'd. And so I just want the community to be aware, what were those police officers supposed to do? Try to hold a man in a parking lot waiting for a crisis team to maybe, there's no idea when they would show up. So I just, I don't think people are aware of this. And the other thing is, there's not a whole lot of, I guess people not only getting a red flag law, people should take a look at asking their representatives, their congresspeople, their whatever, to look at supporting, like maybe there needs to be an emergency volunteer service or something to help support the police in situations that involve mental health. They were put in a very horrible situation, and I understand. It was a horrible, horrible thing, but people don't understand. Like wherever I am, people just say awful things. And, oh, he should. I guess first of all, people didn't realize that he had permits for his guns, and the police couldn't take them away. But it's very difficult. And I think we all need to be more aware of looking at what's real when it comes to mental health. Just this, I guess, or maybe it was last week, Mainline Health, I guess a Women's Resource Center, just said they were closing down and didn't give their patients much notice. And they also said it's a lack of funding. So mental health, it's always been the stepchild, where the money doesn't go to mental health. And a lot of places have closed down. Chester County was forced to make beds in Chester County Hospital, because after Brandywine closed down, I mean, we need facilities for mental health people in Chester County. And the other thing people don't understand about getting a 302, just why I have the floor, I guess, usually, I mean, unless that law has changed, but if somebody if something happens or they're from the Chester County, they have to be 302'd in Chester County. So there's these laws, but I guess I just wanted to have that on the record, that people, and the police deserve some support. I don't think people realize what a hard situation that they were placed in. It's just awful. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Carol, could you just give us your last name too?
Oh, Matthews.
Yeah, I know who you are, obviously, but just for this record, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. And thanks for your support of the police. Any other public,
Mr. Chairman, just very quickly on response to that, just for the record, was brought up the comments about red flag laws or extreme risk protection orders. In my day job, I'm chief of staff to the Speaker of the House. There is no red flag law in Pennsylvania. There is legislation to consider that. That legislation has stalled and failed. So we are left with what statutes are on the books. If you believe that is something you consider, you should contact your state senators and your state representatives about pursuing that. But right now, there is no red flag law in Pennsylvania.
yeah, and Carol, you can read my interviews with the Inquirer, which I'm talking about it. I've at least been interviewed twice already, yeah, exactly.
Ray Clark with Open Land Conservancy. I just wanted to thank the Arts Commission for sponsoring the Kindness Rock event last weekend, or 2 weekends ago. About 70 or more community members came out to our Lorimer Preserve, had a spectacular, gorgeous weather day, and they painted these little rocks with like butterflies and ladybugs and inspirational messages, and they took one home, they left one by a trail in the preserve. It was really a wonderful event. And so the Arts Commission drove that. Patty Benson prepared all the rocks and had all the supplies. And if anybody wants to come and take a nice spring day and walk through the preserves and look for a kindness rock, please do. It's fun.
Thank you, Ray. Any other public comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we have one of our audio listeners with their hand raised.
Okay.
You can go ahead, Ms. Tenney.
Yes, hi. This is Jessica Tinnany. I live on Hickory Lane in Berwyn. How are you today? I am calling because I appreciate the opportunity. I'm also calling about the same issue as the previous caller. I would like to discuss the idea of looking into if we do indeed have enough support within the police department for mental health. It could be that we need to hire somebody to be a mental health specialist for our township police, just as Radnor Township has a paid person who does this. And there are a lot of people who are at risk, who are part of our community, whether it is that they have mental health issues, or they have autism, or they have other special needs, such as somebody who has dementia. There's so many different kinds of facets of this, that having additional support just in case the police need to make a call is so important. And I really think we need to look at this and invest in researching where we can use our resources to help that population. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment? Supervisor, new business?
Sure. So I have a few comments. So I'd like to talk about taxes. So none of us likes paying them, but we pay them because we expect services from government, such as police and emergency services, plowed streets, fixed potholes, pumped sewers. So I look at taxes from the perspective of both cost effectiveness and fairness. So today I'd like to talk about fairness. So our township's residents currently pay a higher real estate tax than we need to because we are in effect subsidizing other townships in the area. So there are residents of other townships who work in Tredyffrin and enjoy the benefits of Tredyffrin, such as our emergency services, but who do not add a penny to the township's revenue. So they are paying earned income taxes to their home townships while earning money in Tredyffrin. So conversely, there are Tredyffrin residents who work in other townships who are paying earned income tax to these other townships, but Tredyffrin gets no benefit from the taxes that these residents are already paying. So a fairer tax system would reduce real estate taxes and offset those with an earned income tax. A majority of residents would actually have more money in their bank accounts from reduced real estate taxes. And yes, a minority who live and work in Tredyffrin would pay an EIT, but they would effectively be participating in a fairer tax system instead of having their fellow residents pay a higher real estate tax than they need to. So funding the township with a combination of EIT and real estate taxes also has another benefit, which is that we have less volatility and would better protect us from events like the real estate crunch of 2007, 2008. So, if you have two different tax streams, then hopefully they're not both, cratering or peaking at the same time, so we have a more predictable revenue stream. So I'd like to, end with that for right now, and thank you for your attention, and I will keep talking about this at future meetings when I'm here. Thank you.
I got something I need to ask Darren. Darren, I need a little help here. Oh, hi, DeRocco. It's nice seeing you. I miss you. Darren, can I ask you a question? I have had to come in the front door a couple of times, and I appreciate that you all put the handicap button there. But can it be moved to the other side? And here's the reason why. I'm a little slow, okay? So if somebody hits the button, and even when I hit the button, by the time I get over to that door to come in, that door hits me on my behind because it starts to close and I don't have anything to hit to keep it open. The inside one works because it's here and I can hit it and get in. But the outside one is to the left, but the right door opens. Can it be swapped?
Let me see what I can do with wiring. If not, maybe we can put like a longer time on it so it would stay open longer.
Okay,
I'll talk to the lock guy in the morning.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other supervisor new business?
Yes, and I realize we have a couple of supervisors here who have some information about it. There has been some issues arising in the community again regarding Mount Pleasant and the student rental housing there. And I know two of our supervisors had a meeting with the community recently. And maybe our police can also give us an update on what occurred. So I'm asking if you can speak to that a little bit.
Me, Hans?
Yeah, we'll let you
Okay.
start. Thank you.
All right, Hans and myself, we had a meeting on Tuesday with the Panhandle Civic Association and the Mount Pleasant Civic Association at the St. David's Country Club, and I believe it was a very productive meeting into the fact that a lot of things were discussed. There were two main things, traffic and student housing. And what has came out with the student housing is that there are 8 to 10 houses that there are students that are living in, along with one house that was not put in there, that there are students, and Aaron and I have been working on that for a while. But the problem seems that most of the students follow the rules, but there are some that for whatever reason, they want to have parties from 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 10 o'clock at night during the week. And so the residents are a little perturbed, to put it mildly, because they can't get any kind of rest if they want to because the students are partying. Also, they are still putting up the blue tarp. Now, they have not been driving, which I appreciate in that respect. They take the Ubers back and forth, but the Ubers are flying up and down the road, and they come in with their six-packs, and, you know, I don't know, or they don't know if the kids are over 21 or not, so that's something that still is bothering people. And I know that the chief and cap have had people go up and, you know, speak to them and what have you, but it is an ongoing problem. And what was really ironic at the meeting that we were at, there were a few women from the Panhandle who have lived here since the late 70s that came and said they didn't realize that this problem was still going on. So I don't know what more can be done to stop, I'm just going to say, the madness of kids. I mean, believe it or not, yeah, I was a college kid at one time. No comments, Duraco, okay. But they seem to be just out of hand. And the problem is because they're in a residential area having parties at 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I really thought they would be in class, you know, and it's really starting to bother. And what the residents of the Mount Pleasant area feel is that they're not being respected. They are not being looked at the same as other residents in this township because of where they are. It's a very small community, but that community has been there forever and ever. And they still feel that they're not getting the same treatment as other people in the township. And as far as the traffic, I'm gonna let Hans take that because you know, that was just madness too, as to where cars speeding up. And the problem that we've had is that some of the cars and some of the people that you're talking about live at the bottom of Mount Pleasant and Henry, and that is Montgomery County. It's like the line runs right through their house. And so I have been there, I can witness, and I have seen people flying up the street. Now, I don't know speed limits off the top of my head, but in that little small street, you know, I think going over 25 is fast because there are kids out there playing. And I just know if you got cars parked, and I thank Cap and the chief for taking that truck, putting that truck ordinance in because the trucks are not there. But even if you have your own car parked and you're flying up the street and there's a kid in between there and that kid darts out, you're not going to be able to hit your brakes in time. And that's what they're worried about, that some children are going to get hurt, or even an adult may get hit because they step out and the car is, you know, coming. So those are the main things. It's the student housing. They are definitely worried with Nova opening up in September at the old Cabrini, because they don't know. And that's something I even talked about, in that I don't know who's going to be moving into those houses, you know, at Mount Pleasant. And the thing that I'm worrying about, and I did talk to Hans about it, and Darren I don't know if it's you or Burgo, to see if we can get PennDOT to paint the lines, especially the lines on the side, because you know, kids walk, and walking from Cabrini up to Mount Pleasant, that's nothing. And so if they know and there's a party going on, what I'm afraid that they'll be walking along the side, but the lines are dull, and we don't have like street lights in the city, and somebody comes up over that hill, either way, and one of those kids get hurt. Or they might get hit because nobody sees them, because they're walking along the highway, but the lines are not bright anymore, because, I mean, paint fades. So those are some of the things that we talked about. And the other thing that we talked about, which David and myself and all, is the buses that are, and this there was a lot of pushback from the folks who live over in Fox Chapel, not just Mount Pleasant, but over in Fox Chapel, with the fact that the buses are going to be coming, and the corner of Upper Gulf and Cabrini, Upper Gulf and King of Prussia Road is backed up now, and I've been surveying it myself, like from 6:30 to about 9 o'clock. It's wall-to-wall traffic. So those are some of the things that we talked about.
Thanks.
Without belaboring the point, a big thing of the traffic issue over there is going to come when, as was mentioned, Villanova opens the Cabrini campus to sophomore students. It's something that we need to continue to look at. I know the traffic committee has talked about it. I know several supervisors have had meetings with Villanova staff about what is going to happen there. We still have some thoughts about the route that the shuttle buses are going to take that will run from the Cabrini campus to the main campus down in Villanova. But a lot of the issue is with Upper Gulf and King of Prussia, that those are state roads. That doesn't mean we can't push, but it means that we can't act directly. So it's more of a continued advocacy thing, and I personally am happy to swap my local for my state hat and try and get PennDOT to an understanding on that. But it is not a forgotten issue. There are some wild, ideas that we just kind of came up with as we were trying to spitball it. I don't know if it's feasible, but it's certainly something that hadn't been thought of. I know there's a lot of constraints over at that corner, so in a perfect world with nothing else being, of consideration like property or anything, yeah, sure, you'd love to convert that into some sort of a roundabout, but there's constraints over there. So there's some ideas that we'll take, in private over and see if it's even feasible, but it's certainly something I know that I will make sure that we bring to the traffic committee and we'll keep an eye on as we continue moving forward.
No, thanks for all your hard work to keep paying attention to what's going on in this neighborhood. I think it's really important, so thank you for the hard work.
Yes, thank you very much for the update.
Any other supervisor new business or board member new business? Our next meeting is May 20th.
I have one.
Oh, sorry.
It's a little bit off of what you just said. Our next meeting is May 20th, but that also means we have some things that happen between then. That May 19th is the PA primary, so I encourage citizens to exercise their right to vote. And then I think that impacts our meeting date, our normal meeting date. Correct? With the holidays, we're moving it to Wednesday in May? Yeah.
And with that, any other board member comments? One more time. Okay, thank you. Next meeting is May 20th. It's 2 days later than the regularly scheduled due to the primary elections. And with that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.